Well, unfortunately, I am rejoined once again by Prolly, who is returning to North America after I did everything I could to banish him across the ocean, and he's back. Yes.
You don't think it was me, like, leaping to freedom away through the ocean?
I don't think that was it, no.
You don't think that was it?
No. I gave H2... I said I will pay his salary.
Oh, it was you. Yeah. You were the man behind the curtain.
And then I lost my job at Yahoo. I can't afford it anymore, so that's why you're back over here.
That makes me feel better, though. You lost your job because of me?
Yes. Well, no, that's not how that... Whatever.
Yeah, no, that's how it works.
That's not what the story was. The point is, you're back and you're going to be coaching for a new team. Yeah. Which team?
100 Thieves, baby.
Okay. So how did this whole thing come about? Did you want to come back to North America? Did they approach you? Give me the story.
Yeah, so it was almost like it was meant to be. We both kind of decided, like they reached out at the same time I was considering coming back to North America. And they're one of the first organizations I talked to, and I got a really good vibe from them. And they're really like supportive, and they kind of wanted to make it like a coach-centered roster and team building stuff. So just a lot of the things aligned. And it was like within the first like hour of talking to them, it made sense. Like, this is kind of the org I want to go with.
Yeah. Were you the first League of Legends guy to join the org? Because I know that 100 Thieves obviously comes from sort of the Call of Duty background and all that kind of stuff. Were there other League of Legends folks involved in this, or are you kind of sort of setting the tone for the entry in terms of like roster and team philosophy and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think I'm the first one to kind of start in the League of Legends part of it. So I'm getting to do, like all the kind of stuff I wanted to always.
Yeah.
So they're really understanding that they're like new to all of League of Legends, so they weren't really like imposing their own beliefs and stuff. So I didn't have to like fight anyone. Like they really trusted what I was doing and like my thoughts. So it was fun to be like, I guess, the first League of Legends part of this whole project.
So let's talk a little bit about the roster that you're assembling. So as we record this, only some of the players are announced.
Yeah.
I don't know how many additional players you want to talk about now, and then we'll save this interview until after they're announced, because I don't know how conversations are going. But, let's talk about the guys that are announced so far, and then we'll figure out how to handle this other stuff.
So Faker being announced was a bit of a shock.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't want him because... I mean, I saw his Ziggs is pretty weak.
Yes.
And his champion pool could be better.
Yeah.
And he was really strict on this like meta thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just really, talking to him was annoying, man.
Yeah.
Like, he was talking about the world championships.
No, who are you actually signing?
All right. So, I mean, who do you know about?
You have announced the top 3 of the map at this point in time.
True dat.
Yes. So who do you have in the top lane?
Is this just a questionnaire?
Yes.
All right, so top lane is going to be Mr. Ssumday.
Okay. So how did he end up on the team? And what's sort of the philosophy behind picking him up? He's just a really good player?
Yeah, no, I mean, we just looked at stats, and he was a high stat player.
Yeah.
No, he's a really flexible player, and he's not selfish, which is, I think, pretty hard amongst the top lane pool. A lot of players want to be like the star top laner. And although he's been a star before, he doesn't seem like he has to be. He's comfortable being the role player if he needs to. And he just has ridiculous laning ability. So being able to be a role player and have strong laning, I think, is really rare. And that's something that he brought that others didn't. And that was like a big selling point for him.
Okay. Jungle
would be Meteos.
Meteos? Is that
Meteos?
Is he rebrand? I saw Trashy's renaming himself. So
so it's Meteos.
Is Meteos going with Meteos now?
Yeah, it's going to be some like Super Saiyan upgrade.
Yeah. No, but Meteos not a new player to North America, one of the first players in the NALCS. So he's coming back, and we kind of saw him like half in, half out before. Yeah. So what's the deal now?
Yeah, because I know reading Reddit, that was a big question. That was like, how dedicated is this guy? And that's for sure one of the first questions I had when I, talked to him about it. I wouldn't say interviewed him.
Right.
But I definitely reached out to all these players to get like a good feeling for them before I decided on anything. And that was definitely one of the bigger concerns was like, where have you been recently? Like, what was the cause of all this? Like, why do you think you're ready to come back now? And why is this different than any other time? and he had really good answers for everything. He really seems motivated to like move into this new split with like a different kind of attitude. And he's been around long enough that he has this kind of maturity in the way he views how a team relationship needs to be. He doesn't really have this like baggage that a lot of old veteran players have of how it used to be and stuff. Like he's really excited to have a atmosphere be like the correct way.
Yeah.
Kind of strive for it and not just settle for like, this is the way it's always been. So he's like a veteran player who's like really eager to try like more new things, and he's really, really hungry. Probably the hungriest player I've talked to amongst like this whole roster. So,
you should feed him.
Yeah, I mean, I got him.
Yeah.
We'll get him nice and fat. Don't worry.
Mid lane.
Mid lane is my old boy, Mr. Ryu.
Yeah. How much of your previous involvement with him played a role in bringing him onto this roster?
It played a lot because similar to like Meteos.
You're just gonna keep doing it.
I can't. I was trying to say it with a serious face. Didn't work out. All right. So similar to
Meteos, yeah.
He was another one where a lot of Redditors were concerned with like his performance in Summer Split and stuff.
Yeah.
And knowing him for the 2 years when I first became a coach, so he knew me when I was a terrible coach, when I had no clue what I'm just doing. Yeah. And now it's not much better.
Yeah, so last year he knew you.
Yeah,
so I'm hearing, yes.
Yeah, so not much better, but at least I have a year of mistakes under my belt.
Sure.
So I really kind of like grew into my coaching style with him as my mid laner. So I was really comfortable with the way he played and the way he liked to view the game. And I had a big talk with him about how like this last Summer Split was for him and like what happened went through his brain. And his like reaction this last split was really predictable when he was explaining how like the atmosphere was and stuff like that. And he's a player who's really dependent on how the team is. He's like an emotional sponge.
Yeah.
Like he's not a really loud person outside a game. So if everyone's like upset around him, he's going to be upset as well. So building this kind of roster with these really positive kind of players is going to really benefit him a lot. And then the last piece why I think Ryu would be perfect fit is because Aphromoo has been signed.
Ooh, okay. So this will come out as this is announced. Yeah.
You promise?
Yes. Yes. Nadeshot off on the side.
Dun.
Done many embargoed interviews before.
All right. So Aphromoo is a perfect fit for Ryu as well. So early on in building this roster, I would say it was a little irresponsible thinking so far ahead that I would be able to get Ryu, Ssumday, Meteos, and Aphromoo. But when I first was building this roster in my head, that was kind of the picks out of the hat I decided on.
Yeah.
And it just worked out really well. And a big reason why those two fit really well together is because like Ryu is always a really loud voice, but it always comes at a cost of his like mechanical ability because you just have to focus on too many things as a shot caller. And so it was always kind of like a dream of his in a way to have his shot calling support. And that's something that he's never had. And I've never really been on a team with a shot calling support really. I mean, Aphro is pretty confident in the way he likes to play the game and the way he likes to like, kind of prove the play style, I guess, of the team.
Sure.
And he had a lot of stuff to do with how CLG played, and he was really close with Zix, their coach. So hopefully he likes me.
Yeah.
And he'll be able to do some like kind of the pattern strategies that I see out of game, and he'll be able to implement them in game and be that kind of shot caller for like Ryu and Meteos to kind of transition them into this like brand new team. So I don't know, all the pieces like work really well in my head.
Yeah. And so that's your roster. It's just 4 players.
Yeah.
You don't even need an AD.
I mean, you're looking at the AD, baby.
Oh, really? Okay.
Ooh,
so you're going to coach
switch.
and AD carry. Yes. No, I mean, still looking for the AD right now?
Yeah, AD is still undecided.
Okay.
Because, Aphromoo was kind of a long process, and I really want to make sure it's an AD carry that works well with Aphromoo.
Yeah.
I definitely don't want to have this like a forced bot lane where I'm just like picking someone that I like and he doesn't. So we're working with him, so it's taking longer to find an AD carry than...
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of nice. I mean, I think a lot of the teams, I was surprised in some situations at how quickly they just like... I mean, at least according to the reported rumors, just like had this roster right then, and it's nice to see that you guys are taking a bit of a longer approach on sort of constructing this thing.
Well, also, like, I think something that's lost right now is like people don't interview enough like backstory of players and stuff. Like, no one's ever asked me on any of my players that have been like brought on that not a weird
Nobody's
thing?
what?
Asked me
Asked
about
you.
my previous players.
Yes.
So I'm doing that with everyone, where I'm
Okay.
asking like hundreds of people, not hundreds, but all these backstories of questions because
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Interview. Okay, I
Like,
thought you were talking
yeah,
about this.
interviewing,
But
like,
you're saying
yeah.
that nobody does the reference check thing. Like,
Yeah.
is this person crazy? Will they
Yeah.
punch a hole in a wall? Like,
because you ask any player like, hey,
Yes.
you know, what champions do you play? They're gonna say, I can play everything.
Yeah.
Look at me,
right.
And then it comes down to it, and they're like, I only want to play Annie.
Yes.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, that was you though.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, exactly. We're just talking about you now.
Yeah.
So you are now entering a pretty competitive landscape
Yes.
because as much
is
as people want to meme about NA, like there are a lot of big name heavy hitters coming into the space.
Yes.
Not just on the org front, but we're seeing more and more players come over. Faker didn't make it this time, but maybe next.
Yeah.
next
Sorry,
split.
sorry, bud. Maybe
Yeah.
next year.
Couldn't make it under 100 Thieves. But how are you going to make sure that this team can make it to Worlds this year?
I mean, I think a lot of positive things we have going for us is it's a coach-built roster, and I've spent a lot of time coaching teams to Worlds. I've made it twice, which is nice.
So you're like, I'm the reason we're going to go to
I'm the
Worlds.
reason we're going to go.
Me,
No,
Prolly.
but these players complement each other really well. And I feel like a lot of these rosters, people are picking pure strength, and they're not really thinking about how is it going to work out all together. Because when the meta changes, I think some of these teams are going to like fall really hard. And a lot of these teams are just like dependent on these like star players playing really well and then everyone else being role players. And I think with this team, there's a lot of balance, a lot of meta resistant players. And I think that's going to play a big role, at least going into summer split. I think spring split is going to be like 50-50.
Yeah.
There's a lot of power teams coming in. So like the way like attitude, breaks up teams won't happen in some of these organizations until summer. And some of these teams that just have really heavy hitters and like solo lanes and stuff like that, I think they'll have a good spring split and stuff. But over like this 8-month span, I think a lot of teams aren't really looking at how to be good in 8 months. And they want to be good now, like this month. And a lot of our choices are not like, look at these players, they're going to come out and just dominate everyone. It's like, I think in like 6 to 7 months, these players will be the best in their role.
Very exciting stuff. All right, setting aside the roster, back to you really quickly here at the end. Where's your allegiance at? Whenever you were an NA player, then you went to Europe, and when I interviewed you over there, you like to just make fun of North America.
Yeah.
But now you're back in North America, and I'm questioning your allegiance a little bit.
Well, I think I was able to make fun of North America because I was from there.
Okay.
So it was much more satisfying,
Okay.
So I think now I get to make fun of everyone.
Okay.
And I have
Yeah.
full immunity. Like if I talk crap about EU, it's like, I was in EU for 3 years. Like, come on, man. It's fine. I'm just joking. So now I kind of get to make fun of everyone, and I'm really excited about that prospect.
Yeah.
But no, I want to be a good change for North America this year because international has always been an issue.
So you're taking everything you learned in Europe and coming here to North America to save us.
Yeah. I basically stole all the information they had, and now I'm coming back to give it back to the land of the free.
Okay. Very good. We'll take that. Is there anything you want to say to any of the 100 Thieves fans out there?
Thank you for, this is a big change from, I'm sure, Nadeshot's community is very different from League of Legends. I'm really happy that everyone's really accepted him. I've read Reddit, and that's, I assume, the community, the important one. And you guys have all been really supportive of everything, so I'm really happy about that. And all the community that doesn't know the League of Legends side yet from Call of Duty, I hope you guys follow us because we're definitely really goofy people, and will be a good story to see.
Yeah. There's a lot more anime in League of Legends, I think, than in Call of Duty.
Oh, we got tons of anime.
Oh, they've got tons of anime over here. Okay.
I want to do a whole interview about anime.
Okay. Well, yeah. I don't really follow
That'll be
anime,
coming
but
up next. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Very good. You can check out the rest of my coverage of all things esports right here on my YouTube channel. A lot of you might not know this, but back in the day when I did interviews with Avalie, she actually made me pay her in incredibly expensive imported anime and body pillows and all this stupid stuff. And so my bank account is just shot now. If you would like to help me out, you could do so over at travisgafford.com/support.